What's up guys, and we're back with some more Genshin Impact, but today we're going to be checking out a different video. Today we are going to be watching why no one plays Aloy in Genshin Impact. Aloy is a character obviously that's from the series Horizon, Horizon Forbidden West comes out next month. It's a good series. It is a very good and popular series, and they brought the character into the game, and a lot of people forgot the characters in the game. I even forgot the character was in the game. And I think the way that they went about it just wasn't good of how they brought her in. They just threw her in and then said, F it, there you go. So yeah, we're gonna see all the reasons why no one plays Aloy. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The original video will be in the description box below. Always want to make sure I give credit, so if you want to check that out, it will be there. But other than that, let's get this video started.
Hey there, before we get started, I'd like to apologize for sounding a little sick in this video. I've been recovering from COVID over the past week. I feel good enough now to record, but I'm sorry if I sound congested. I'm just feeling really antsy and I want to work on a video, so...
Just want to say, glad to hear they're doing better.
Welcome back to another episode of Why No One Plays for Genshin. In Clee's video, I talked about how I needed a bit more time to work on this one since, she would probably fit the title of the least played character even more than the likes of Amber and Traveler. Thanks for waiting patiently, and without further ado, let's talk about Genshin Impact's first collaboration unit with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which I was hyped for.
Even though I'm almost certain the consensus with her is that of poor approval, for all the people who unironically main Aloy, I like to first start off by saying this video is not a personal attack, nor is it meant to slander or deride the character or anyone who plays her. The goal of Why No One Plays is to discuss characters who aren't used very much or sought after, analyzing why they're unpopular, and to think of ways we can hypothetically improve their gameplay beyond simply increasing their stats, numbers, and the like.
Which is a good series idea.
Genshin's canon universe, Aloy presents a lot of interesting questions. It's not uncommon for gacha games to have collaboration events to boost their marketability. This can happen between gacha titles such as Fire Emblem and Dragalia Lost, or between unrelated entities. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius had a plethora of collaboration events ranging from Nier Automata to Full Metal Alchemist to Kingdom Hearts. And for the most part,
they had all of those? Jesus.
Are received with fervent support from the community and are sometimes the very reason those games are picked up by otherwise uninterested players. To give
I still gotta play Nier.
Of where Outlander comes from, Horizon Zero Dawn is an action RPG released in 2017, which follows Aloy, a hunter in a world overrun by machines. In terms of gameplay, it's surprisingly not all that different from Genshin in fundamental experience.
In a way,
it was
yeah.
praised for the visuals, combat, and world
very good
exploration,
game.
much
Very
like
good
Genshin.
Game.
And as a mechanical...
Like, if you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn and you have a PlayStation, or even a PC at this point, play it, for sure.
Horizon Zero has an aim shot mechanic much like the one we have here. Thematically speaking, Aloy's usage of a bow and the way she plays in her own game lends enough credence to how she would be able to play in this one. And while it's not the most well-known title out there, Horizon Zero Dawn is a respectable game. In fact, it's scheduled to receive a sequel in the form of Horizon Forbidden West in February 2022. Comes out next month. Despite traces of similarity between the two games, as well as the aforementioned universal appreciation for collabs, Aloy's inclusion in Genshin Impact was met with a mixture of extreme backlash and indifference. Now, with all that said, I don't intend to go into the rabbit hole of how she makes no sense in the game as the reason
I don't care about that, it's a collaboration. It's just how they executed it.
Is that Aloy's presence causes a mountain of plot holes, breaks the story continuity, and raises countless questions to the rules of the game's universe. Like,
I'm not worried about that.
Why does she have a vision while Traveler doesn't? I suppose, depending on the perspective, you can draw the conclusion that disruption of immersion is a turn-off for a lot of people. Imagine if Avengers Endgame have VTubers. It doesn't matter how popular HoloLive is, they have no place being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I mean,
get that.
The thing is, gacha games do collaborations though, like we just said. Collabs happen with stuff, So I thought it was a really cool collaboration. It's just
do you really
they didn't even give Aloy a mission or something
for the game story. Of course not. If she's powerful, people are going to use her. Pikachu's the mascot of Pokemon, but you don't see anyone who uses Pikachu with a straight face, right? It's the same thing. I wanted to get that point out of the way because my breakdown of why no one uses Aloy is going to be focused entirely on her usage as a character. I know the main point for why I said no one uses Traveler is because there's sort of a stereotype that tutorial characters in gacha games are pretty bad. But at the end of the day, they're very mediocre characters, and believe me, Aloy has problems, a lot of them. First and foremost, she was given to us after the release of Ganyu and Diona, who effectively already solidified their positions as the DPS and support Cryo bow users respectively.
They should have known it was a GG.
It would be an undertaking considering how valuable they are. They came out very
I already had
early
Ganyu by then too.
In 1.1 and Ganyu in 1.2. It's not just them either. Rosaria, Eula, Ayaka, Cryo is the most competitive element in the game. I would dare say even more than Pyro, because it's also one of the most vital elements for general combat in Genshin. Melt, Freeze, and Superconduct are all extremely valuable reactions, and while Pyro characters are known for the destructive power, Cryo prioritizes utility on top of damage. To elaborate, aside from Ganyu's ridiculously high base numbers, what makes her such a valuable asset to any team? One thing, coverage. The main strength bow users carry is their immense range, being able to attack enemies from a safe distance, but it comes at the expense of a loss of coverage. Bows can only damage one target at a time. Fittingly, the only two bow users who can serve as main DPS are Ganyu and Child, with the latter basically abandoning his range properties for his water daggers and spear. As for Ganyu, the second stage of her charge attack does splash damage to all enemies.
So
at the
Ganyu's
point of
obviously the
impact.
best option because she
Moreover,
could cover
she
more.
has Celestial Shower,
Exactly.
which applies repeated
That's why so
cryo
many people
damage
love
in a large
Ganyu.
area. Technically, many bow users do have elemental skills and bursts with considerable coverage, but they can't apply it consistently. As for Diona, public opinion of her was initially sour until they realized the extent of her supportive capabilities, especially with
I don't have
constellations.
Diona
She's
built.
almost like a Cryo version of Bennett and Xingqiu,
do
though
know
not to
this.
the same degree, of course. She can provide shields, regeneration, cryo cleanse, which obviously isn't the best, but it can work in a pinch, bonus attack, and at max constellation, if your characters are above half HP, she gives 200
could
bonus
revive,
elemental
right?
mastery, the same as Kazuha's C2. So not only are Ganyu and Diona cryo bow users, but they're really good cryo bow users. Even if
There's
we
just too much
disregard their weapon
competition
type, Cryo has
for
so many
Aloy,
strong
way too
characters
much.
with their own niche. Eula is the best physical damage dealer in the game, Ayaka is a fantastic cryo DPSer, Rosaria is incredible in double cryo teams, heck, Chi-Chi is still a very popular healer despite dedicated healers being in low demand. So what does Aloy have in comparison? I'm guessing many of you don't know what she does, and I don't blame you, so I'll go through her skill and burst really quickly.
Yeah, I
Frozen
don't even
Wilds
know.
is almost a carbon copy of Klee's Jumpty Dumpty, and not in a good way. She throws a freeze bomb in front of her that does cryo damage, and that bomb splits into smaller fragments that explode upon contact with opponents or after a short delay. The fragments reduce the target's attack and give Aloy a stack of coil. For every coil attack, she gains bonus damage on her normal attacks, and at 4 stacks, her normal attacks automatically convert to cryo damage. Just by looking at her skill alone, you can tell she belongs to the DPS department, either a main or sub. Prophecies of Dawn is a burst of cryo damage. Now admittedly, it has a very beautiful animation. I like the rainbow hue on her arrow before it fires, so they didn't spare any expense on the graphics, that's for sure. But given that her burst is just damage, we have to compare the numbers. Normally the litmus tests for single instance attacks are Hu Tao's Spirit Soother and Child's Havoc Obliteration. And at a glance, Aloy's damage doesn't look all that bad in comparison. The issue is, she can't match Hu Tao's staggering attack scaling or Child's ridiculous hydro damage. Furthermore, she has neither the consistency nor the DPS. I understand Ganyu is a 5-star while Aloy is free, but guess what?
I mean, yeah,
Diona
we weren't gonna be just expecting Aloy to be like on Ganyu level or something like that. Like, obviously, it's a free character that we got. They weren't about to make her full-on cracked out unga bunga. It wasn't happening. That I get. But man, didn't they they made her a dumpster fire gameplay wise, huh? Unfortunately. And I liked the way that her animations look too for Aloy. It's just they sort of, like I said, they sort of said, here, take the character that looks cool. Yeah, we're not gonna check up on her, try to fix anything. We're not gonna add in a mission with her or something. Just here you go, have fun. Good luck.
and Xiangling were given for free at one point, and they're very powerful. Speaking of consistency, that's where Aloy struggles the most in practice. She doesn't have the right tools to allow her to be an efficient main DPS bow user, and the full extent of her power is locked behind something she has no control over. Almost every character in Genshin has an attack steroid of some sort that augments their strength, albeit temporarily. For example, Hu Tao gains a massive attack boost when using her skill. Zhongli's shield effectively grants you 25% bonus damage in the form of its elemental reduction debuff. Shogun's Electro Eye causes follow-up electro damage and boosts elemental burst
They
damage.
all have something that helps them get a
nearby.
buff.
What makes them strong is their ease of access. You need only press a button. Aloy's DPS uptime is contingent on activating Rushing Ice, which can only be obtained through the usage of her freeze bomb. Unless you're fighting a massive enemy, you won't be able to immediately obtain 4 stacks of coil.
Oh, okay, I get what he's saying now. So basically, the other characters he mentioned, you just press a button, boom, you're able to get the buff that you need and do the damage that you want to do. With this, you have to be fighting some unga bunga enemy to even get the items required in order to do the decent damage that other characters would do in an instant. Okay, I get it.
Even then, only her normal attack damage increases. Coil stacks have a 0.1 second delay in between as well. If she were to time her skill to strike 4 targets simultaneously with the initial explosion, then she would have no problem. Sadly, that internal cooldown prevents her from instantly activating Rushing Ice. One other problem with Frozen Wilds, it has a 20-second cooldown. 20! You could cut it down to
Hmm.
10 and it would still be an inconsistent ability. Throw a single
Jeez.
bomb at the wrong time or in the wrong place, and she's effectively useless until it comes back up. She does have the potential to acquire a significant amount of cryo damage with Strong Strike, one of her passive talents that gives her a free 35% after 10 seconds. But 10 seconds is far too much time for her to be out for, even for your main damage dealer. Seldom should you ever stay on one character for more than 5 to 8 seconds at a time. Aloy's damage is simply too conditional for you to count on it, and even with all that in mind, requiring that much field time can detract from your momentum, especially since she's
Yeah,
not
starts
at full
messing
DPS
everything
the
up. You
entire
start getting
time, the way
hit
someone
like
Daniel would
he's
be.
getting
I
hit in the
suppose in
video right
theory,
now.
She does have some viability as backup burst damage. Her ultimate is a single instance attack after all, but unfortunately her numbers just aren't there. Much like Traveler, Aloy does have the
Just
potential
bad
to
damage.
contribute a lot to her team, but it's just not enough. Her other passive, Combat Override, gives her a measly 16% attack boost. For comparison, Ganyu gets a free 20% crit rate just by attacking normally, and Celestial Shower grants 20% bonus cryo damage when you stand in it. Those buffs are more generous
them
and
good
on
buffs.
better stats. Xingqiu straight up gets an unconditional 20% bonus hydro damage, no strings attached.
And
For some
Aloy gets
characters,
crap.
a lot of their potential
That's
is
how this
locked
goes.
behind constellations, especially 4 stars. Sucrose, Diona, Shangling, Xingqiu, Rosaria, and Fischl are all great, but you do sort of need to max out their constellation to make the most of them. Now,
Yeah,
fortunately,
C6 is
being
in
4
show. Oh
stars,
my
that's
god, a
really easy to
beast.
pull off.
Such a
You could be a
beast.
free-to-play player and do this rather comfortably. Could the same be said for Aloy? Nope, she has no constellations to speak of,
Yeah,
so what you
the
see
fact that like I remember my friends telling me this. They're like, yeah, Aloy has no constellations, and I'm all like, huh? What do you mean she has no constellations? So that's what makes her so bad also. I completely forgot about that till right now. That's why I never ended up building Aloy. I'm like, you don't even have any constellations. So it's like you don't get any extra buffs like every other character would get to try to make you better. So that's even more of why you turned into like a dumpster fire character gameplay wise that nobody wants to touch. And if you play Aloy, I mean, shout out to you. I don't know how you do it, but God bless you. You know what I'm saying? If you enjoy playing as Aloy and it's your thing, you do your thing, you know? I don't want to bash anybody, but like, Jesus. We know, like they're saying in a video, the numbers for her, just everything. No cons, it's just bad.
is what you get.
Hella bad.
I'm of the school of thought that constellations should seek only to enhance what is already there, not to make up for what is lacking. For instance, Bennett's Fantastic Voyage by itself has a health restriction to it, where you only gain the bonus attack if your health is 70% or higher. If you drop under that amount though, the circle regenerates your health until it's at least 70%. So while it imposes a condition, it also helps you reach that condition without external support. Constellation 1 allows you to get the attack boost unconditionally regardless of health. That's what a constellation should do. The character should be fully functional without them, but they provide quality of life benefits. In other words, Aloy's lack of constellations would otherwise be a good thing because we all know where she stands. Too bad she doesn't stand very tall, both metaphorically and literally. Aloy is also a victim of circumstance, a very big one at that. In my episode on Genshin's character design problems, I brought up the potential issue regarding characters bound by region. Based on what we know so far, despite Genshin Impact being open world, the Archon questline ordains that you complete the 7 nations of Tevat in the order of Mondstadt and Liyue before you get into Inazuma. In fact, you legitimately cannot enter Inazuma until you complete the prior 2 nations first. Aloy requires Inazuman materials to ascend and level up talents because you can only get Crystal Marrow, Spectral Drops, and
I didn't even
Momo
know
Survey,
that, to be honest with you.
She's straight up unusable
I didn't
for
even know what
2/3 of the
material
existing content.
she needed.
Ironically, Aloy is a perfect beginner unit. She has arguably the best utility passive talent in the early game when you're trying to build up a supply of items, and her base numbers alone are serviceable for a free unit, especially since you can run double cryo with her and Kaya. You had to be adventure rank 20 or above to get her, but if memory serves, that's towards the latter end of the Mondstadt portion of the Archon quest, so she's still very much usable at that time. But when you get to Inazuma, provided you got her at exactly AR20 when she was given out, you should already be entering the level 70s. Getting any character to that level requires considerable investment, at which point, you have a character with middling stats and attributes who can only serve as a main DPS or sub DPS.
So it's like, what the hell's the point? Like, okay, yeah, the character could be useful in the beginning, but then what the hell is what's the point when you, like you said, you get into the level 70s and stuff? You're screwed. You're basically screwed. You got a dumpster fire character gameplay wise, and it's like, do I really want to keep leveling up this character, or do I just want to wait for Ganyu and have a character that actually has constellations and some better like stuff in general, like talents? That would be way better. It's a shame. It really is a shame, but at the same time, we can't be super surprised because it was just like a character they just gave us to give us, you know, collaboration. But damn, it would have been cool to see more.
PS at most. From a pragmatic standpoint, investing any resources on Aloy is not only extremely efficient, it's kind of wasteful. The only remaining incentive players have in leveling and gearing her up is if they like the character.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the character, if you like the character, you like the character. I'm never gonna get at somebody if you genuinely like a character. You play the character no matter what. You do your thing. But if we're talking about facts and just numbers, then this is the truth of the matter. You know what I mean?
We can connect the dots rather easily. Her entire ordeal presents a lot of thought-provoking questions, though. Does her inclusion within the game mean that Mihoyo is open to other collaboration units?
Yeah, I would think so at some point, right?
Aloy pertaining only
it's just
to her.
Genshin likes to take a millennium to get like stuff like that going, like getting new outfits in the game and stuff. It takes forever.
Is that she doesn't fit into the overall setting of the game. Horizon Zero Dawn takes place in a more futuristic and borderline science-fictional universe, while Genshin is more medieval fantasy, what with Liyue and Inazuma representing ancient China and Japan. In some way, that is a viable complaint. As I brought it before, it would make almost zero sense for VTubers to appear in comic book hero stories because those.
And once again, I say it's just a collaboration, so I don't find it that deep. Honkai had an Evangelion anime collaboration.
Thematic congruity there.
It just is what it is.
Would prevailing wisdom be this harsh on Aloy if she was better? Would people think more highly of her in spite of her shape?
Listen, I guarantee you, if Aloy was a coked out unit, you wouldn't see people saying, oh my gosh, it doesn't make sense that they're in it. It's a collab character. It's not supposed to make sense. That's the whole point of a collab. You see games like Fortnite and stuff, you see Spider-Man slinging around a freaking Morty from Rick and Morty. It's a collaboration. It's just a cool thing that, you get, like, you give to the community and they enjoy stuff from other places in the game that they like playing. That's all it is. It's not supposed to be meant to be taken that deep. And like I said, I assure you, if Aloy was coked out, people would not be complaining about the lore sense of it. Like, it's a collab, dude. Please. Please.
If she was, say, on par with Ganyu.
Let's focus on the actual issue, the gameplay.
Fandoms such as Emilia from ReZero. Genshin's got an isekai vibe to it, both are anime-like, it wouldn't be that unrealistic. Would players be more receptive? What exactly is it about Aloy that people don't like? Is it due to her gameplay or her lack of purpose within the game's universe? As someone who's played many gacha games, I love collab events. I think it's a fun way to see familiar faces in a game I play. It happens all the time, not just in gacha games, but in real life. Collaborations are fantastic for bridging two communities together.
It helps a Persona 5.
Don't have to be canon. Obviously they aren't because
just don't make it canon.
I personally would love to see more collab units because Genshin is by far the most popular gacha game of all time in the modern era, so I'm very certain they've been approached by other brands. My guess for why Aloy sucks is because she's a free unit, so if the next collab unit had its own wish banner, would that allow them to be strong? I don't know. We'll see. That's gonna wrap it up for today, though. What do you guys think?
It probably would be strong if they're doing it for
collab units going forward. And while we're on that, if we go by the assumption that her bad reception came from her lack of plot correlation, what video game characters would make sense in the Genshin universe? Let me know in the comments down below.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Video,
listen, I'm trying to get a Persona freaking collaboration with Genshin.
Like also, if you play League of Legends by any chance, check out my main channel Vars. I do similar videos on there as well. Aside from that,
check out their videos
on Twitter, join my Discord server. We're actually growing a pretty decent Genshin section, which is awesome. Oh, and check out my previous Why No One Plays episodes if you haven't yet. But until next time,
which we'll probably check out the others.
Again, I do apologize for how I sound in this video. I hope it wasn't too bad. I'm about to find out right.
You sounded normal, my dude. You good?
But regardless, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
That was a good video. That was honestly a good video. I gotta say, like, he made really good points. Like, the fact that people are really upset about the lore aspect for a collab character is just baffling to me in the first place. Like, really? Really? This is what we're worried about? If anything, you should be encouraging us getting, like, collab characters from, like, anime we like or video games and stuff. A Nier and Genshin collab. Just do it. It'd be cool. But I think the characters can't be absolute dumpster fires at the same time. Like, jeez. I get it, you don't want to be giving out absolutely coked characters, but I feel like you could have at least given Aloy some constellations or something. Well, actually, then I guess that goes into how would that work, right? Because if you give Aloy constellations, how are people gonna get it? Like you were saying in the video, are you gonna have people having to pull for a collab character? Maybe. Like, would you rather get a collab character and they be straight buns, cheeks, garbage? Or would you rather than put a collab character in, but you have to pull for them? Or you put a collab character in, and this is just me coming up with something in my mind right now. You put in a collab character, and there's missions that you have to do, for the character, and then you get the constellations that way, in a unique way. So that way you play the game, you do some missions with that character, you know, just for fun. It doesn't even have to be canon of them interacting with, like, the Traveler or whatever the case is, and then boom, there you go. I just gave you an idea, Genshin. You don't even have to make it canon. Just something fun for us to do. Not everything has to be so, just, I don't understand why everybody makes it such, like, a big deal for something that's meant to be fun. Like, y'all want the freaking collabs to be all making sense and stuff. But when it comes to the actual game of Genshin, y'all aren't talking about how the game should be more serious or something. Like, or the story, like the writing could be better at times. Like, if we're gonna talk about issues with Genshin, let's talk about the real issues, you know what I mean? As I always say, I love Genshin Impact, but come on. People would just be complaining just to complain about some weird stuff when there's things that we could actually talk about to help better the game, you know, real topics of discussion. But yeah, this was a great video. I think we'll like check out more of these like here and there, see some other characters of why no one plays. I think it's a really cool series, and shout out to them for this video as always. So yeah, comment down below, let me know what you guys think about the whole collab situation, Aloy, all this good stuff. I feel like it was a good topic of discussion for sure. Other than that, appreciate y'all, love y'all. Stay safe, hit that notification bell. If you're not subscribed already, please do consider subscribing. We're trying to hit that 4,000 subscriber mark, so all the support that we can get helps out a lot. And other than that, as always, don't do crack.
Be sure to subscribe to the Special K Experience if you enjoyed this video. If not, you're going to Femboy IHOP.